What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Um, okay. Today's episode of All My Children, crazy. So Adam was with Brooke at the Chandler mansion. You know, he had to go out of town, and they were talking. And Adam was upset because Hayward was back in town, and he wanted to know what the hell Hayward was up to. So Miranda was at the mansion because Celia was coming over to tutor her. And Celia, of course, is still not talking to Petey. So Petey was at the Cortland mansion calling Celia, but Celia wouldn't answer the damn phone. And her and Miranda were talking about, the boy trouble that they were having or whatever like that. But Celia was saying that she had another picture. She got a picture of her father, but she had a picture of her mother, but Petey got it. But she talking about, oh, she don't want to talk to Petey. I'm like, are you dumb? Your mother died, and that's the only picture of her that you got. Why would you not want that back? All because you don't want to talk to Petey. What sense does that make? So Miranda was talking about her parents and stuff, and the fact that she don't know who her father is. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, Bianca never told Miranda that her father was Michael Cambius. But she probably didn't want to tell her because then she would have to tell her about the rape and, go into that whole thing. And I guess Bianca didn't really want to do that, not until Miranda was older, probably, which is understandable. So anyway, AJ was at the hospital looking at JR, talking with, visiting JR, his father. DIXIE walked in, and AJ was still upset about what JR did, killing Marissa and stuff like that. He was still upset about that. And DIXIE was blaming David Hayward for that, which is not David's fault. If you want to blame somebody, blame JR. JR is the one that went to the mansion with a gun, trying to shoot somebody. David was the one that was trying to stop him. David only shot JR because JR shot David's daughter. So he shot JR in retaliation because he was upset. And I don't blame David. So AJ walks out of the room, bumps into Hayward, his other grandfather. And, David was trying to talk to him, trying to, let him know that if he needed something, he could, come to him, call him, talk to him about it, whatever. So David went to go meet with CARA, and CARA told him the truth about the baby, well, her version of the truth, and just told David to kind of move on. But of course, David ain't gonna move on because I don't think he believes her story. There's too much. He feels like there's something she ain't telling him, which is true because she was on the phone telling somebody to destroy some papers and evidence that she was at a clinic. Nobody could ever know the truth. My guess is she either had an abortion or she gave that baby up for an adoption. I'm guessing an adoption. The bitch is crazy. And when David find out, oh, that's her ass. I'm telling you, she's going down. Because you know how David is. Anyway, at the cafe, Jane's Cafe, Jesse, Zach, and Angie were at the cafe. Well, Jesse and Zach were at the cafe. And then Angie came in to buy a coffee. And she was asking them questions as to why they were huddled up and stuff. And Zach told her that he was working on a case and Jesse was helping her with the case. So Zach gets a phone call. He walks out. And Angie was asking Jesse what was the problem because Jesse looked like he was about to jump out of his skin. So she wanted to know what the deal was. But of course, he's not going to tell her. She has a right to know. That's her child. She got a right to know the truth. Whether the truth is going to be heartbreaking or whatever, she should know the truth. Because the longer he holds on to this secret, the worse it's going to be for him when she finds out. Because eventually she's going to find out. And he'd be a fool not to tell her. So Zach tells Jesse that they got a tip about a nail salon that, you know, pretty much is for prostitutes and stuff like that. So they go there, check the place out, but didn't find nothing. So they go around back to check the dumpster, you know, see whatever evidence they could find. AJ shows back up at the mansion and stuff like that. Cause he was, you know, he comes back to the mansion and stuff, and he didn't want to tell Miranda why he went to go see JR, or who he really went to go see. He lied about going to the cafe and stuff. So Celia went to the cafe, and Petey was there helping Jane with her computer. And him and Celia see each other, but they don't really speak at first. And then she sits down reading a magazine or whatever. He walks over, give her mother's picture back, and then walks away. I feel like Celia is being childish, because why ignore him when you don't even know all the facts? Because all you did was overhear a conversation that his friend, that he was having with his friend. But she never heard Petey say anything negative about her. She heard the friend saying all this stuff. So why are you just assuming that that's what Petey was saying, or that's what he was thinking, when you know that's not what he said? That's what his friend said. She is so childish in this particular episode, because it's like, why ignore him when you could just talk to him and get to the real facts? So I just feel like she's being childish. He's trying to reach out and talk to you, but you're ignoring him like a child. Seriously, grow up. So anyway, yeah. David was talking with Angie or whatever, and Angie was telling David to just kind of back off, you know, just as far as CARA was concerned. But David ain't gonna back off, because he knows there's more to the story than what she's saying. Anyway, Dixie was in JR, I was about to say his hotel, I mean his hospital room. She gets a call from Tad, because you know Tad is out of the country on an assignment. So she gets a call from Tad and was telling him what was going on. So Dixie was about to leave JR's hospital room when JR woke up and spoke. So she turned around, so it looks like JR is returning to the living. Anyway, now it is time for One Life to Live. Dorian was sitting at her desk watching her video of her resigning from the U.S. Senate, and she got upset and snatched that goddamn mop off her head, that wig, snatched it off her head, which was so funny. So she gets a knock at the door. It's some delivery guy. She told David to tip the guy. So she went into the box, grabbed some money out, and then David, when her back was turned, went into the box and grabbed some money out. I was like, David is a fool. Because she's trying to come up with a plan to protect herself, just in case shit go crazy with the U.S. Senate. Anyway, Victor was at home, and he gets a knock on the door from Todd, which I thought Todd ass would be in the hospital or dead by now, but he shows up at the door, sick, of course, because he's been poisoned, and he tries to broker a truce with Victor, you know, for the sake of the kids, because maybe if the kids see them get along, it'll be better for everybody. So Victor agrees and tells Todd that he should go home and get some rest, you know, curl up or whatever. And Victor goes over to La Boule to see the kids. Well, before he does that, Jack comes in talking about he going to school, but apparently he's missed 3 days of school, and Blair wanted to know what the hell was going on. But he's acting like a little smart ass. I can understand where Jack coming from as far as Todd, you know, because Todd has done some horrible things. But Jack has to realize he's done some horrible things too. So you can't really judge your father when you've done some shit that's been horrible. Need I remind you the Gigi Marasco situation? Him bullying Shane? Damn near, I mean, come on, bringing a boy to almost kill himself? That's horrible. So Jack can't really judge Todd. So anyway, Victor comes over to see Sam and Jack, and they're all playing a video game, and that's when Todd comes over. And he talks to Blair and tells Blair about his conversation with Victor and how they was going to broker a truce. And So she told Todd he looked like hell and stuff like that, and she thought he was coming down with the flu. So he went inside the living room to see Jack, but he saw Jack, Victor, and Sam playing a video game, and Victor gave him a little nod and stuff like that. Victor is crazy. So Todd got a little jealous and upset and walked out, and I could tell Blair felt bad for him, you know. So he went back to his hotel room. Victor left. He gave Blair a kiss on the cheek, which was nice, and he left. Todd was in his hotel room, laid out on the couch. Victor came in knocking on the door, but then Victor walked away from the door because I think Victor was trying to see if Todd was dead by now. But then when he heard his voice, Victor was trying to figure out, why isn't Todd dead yet? I think that's what he was trying to figure out, because he poisoned him, and I think that's what he's trying to see, like, was he breathing? That's why he went to his hotel, to see if he passed out yet. So Todd took a drink, then went on the balcony and came back in. I think Todd senses something is wrong with him. Anyway, Jeffrey and Matthew were at their apartment. They get a knock on the door. It's Dani. She comes in to check out the apartment and stuff and sees that they have a 3-bedroom. But that 3rd bedroom Jeffrey was going to use for an office. Now she talking about that's going to be her bedroom. She wants to move in. And so Matthew and Jeffrey agrees. So Jeffrey gets a call from Vicky telling him that she can't have him at the Banner no more because of financial reasons. But if he could still work for her as a freelance writer. So her and Clint had a meeting, I guess, with her lawyer to go over, or her accountant to go over, you know, the business of the Banner and stuff like that. And he was telling her if she moves some of her personal assets over to the Banner, it could be risky for her. I feel bad for her because the Banner is where she got her start back in the day. You know, her father owned the Banner and stuff like that, Lord Enterprises, and he gave her her job there. So the Banner means a lot to her and her family. So, you know, she was blaming herself for the downfall of the Banner and stuff like that. And Clint offered to, you know, financially fund the Banner, but she refused because she wanted to get out of this herself. But I feel like she should have took him up on his offer because Clint is a billionaire. Like, he runs $1 billion business. He's a billionaire. So why not let him do it? But I can understand why. She's independent. I feel bad for her. But I don't understand how the Banner, I understand the Banner is going through financial problems, but the Banner is not just the only company she runs. Lord Enterprises is a huge conglomerate that owns a lot of other companies. So why she can't just use the money from Lord Enterprises to fund the Banner? But anyway, she got a call from Jeffrey, and Jeffrey decided to stay on as a freelance writer. You know, he didn't want to leave her. Matthew and Clint, well, Natalie and Destiny were at the cafe with Drew and Liam. Liam is too fucking big to be up in that little baby carriage. I'm sorry, but Liam is too big for that carriage. Why is that boy up in that carriage, as old as he is, as big as he is? Why is he in that carriage? What the hell is wrong with Natalie? So Natalie and Destiny were talking about, you know, pretty much baby fathers and the fact that, you know, Clint and Vicky wanted her to move back into the mansion. I don't think she should move back into the mansion. Natalie needs to be independent, you know, stand on her own too, which I'm glad she's doing. I mean, she's working. She has her own apartment. Good. Stand on your own too. So Clint and Matthew walks in, and Clint was gushing over the baby, you know, baby Drew, and trying to get Matthew to hold the baby, but Matthew was kind of refusing to hold the baby. So they leave, and Clint chewed Matthew ass out. He chewed him out, and I'm happy he did it. Clint was telling him, that's Bo's grandson. That's his grandnephew. That's Asa's great-great-grandson. Be a Buchanan and take care of your damn son. That's what you do. That's your child. Step up to the plate, man up. And that's what Clint was telling him. Don't lose out on precious time with your son. And Clint was telling him, because Clint went through this shit with Rex. Remember all them months Clint knew, Rex was his son, and he pretty much punished Rex and didn't want to acknowledge him as his son. You know how many precious moments he missed out with Rex? And he regretted that. And him and Rex finally made peace. And that's what he's trying to tell Matthew. Don't make the same mistake he did with Rex. Be a part of Drew's life. And I agree with Clint. It's time for Matthew to step up and do the right thing and take care of his damn child. That child is a Buchanan. Take care of your own. And finally, some sense was knocked into Matthew. So anyway, Dani told Jeffrey and Matthew that she'd be moving in tomorrow. I wonder how Taya gonna take the news. But anyway, today's episode was great. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely loving One Life to Live and All My Children. Definitely. But you guys have a great day. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Have a great day.